Hi guys, hi Meosha.
Hey, Irina.
Welcome to Tea
Tea
Talks
Talk,
with
Meosha,
and
and Irina. Welcome, welcome, welcome
we
to the show, guys.
we
Welcome.
cannot figure this out
No, we
because
can. We can. You just have. No one knows until we say we can't figure it out.
I'm saying it's so much better in person.
Oh, yes, I agree. It is so much better in person. But what can we do? You know,
We're doing what we can. We're doing it.
I'm here in my unmarked location, in an unmarked location. You are in LA.
Let me tell you guys why it's an unmarked location because it's so in podunk there. It's not even on the map.
Don't put my business out there like that. You really funny. You're really funny.
All right, now that we've warmed up,
Wow. Just throw me under the bus. Fine. Totally fine.
don't make my mascara run. Come
Okay,
on.
okay, okay. All right, I'm be good. All right. So, what are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about how we need to get out of our own way.
That's right.
That's what's up, y'all.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I've been hanging out with Miosha way too much. Y'all's coming out.
Wow. Here we go again.
I
Wow.
miss you. I gotta give you a couple of jabs. Come
I,
on.
I miss you too. I do miss you.
That's my love language.
Jab, 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 jab.
Yes.
Like
And you
I
bleed
am.
slowly and you're like, oh yes, this feels good. I'm dying slowly.
Oy vey. I guess. I guess. I'm beat up, guys. See all these bruises I have. No, I.
I don't leave marks.
Right, right. How do we get in our own way? That's tell me.
She's all about business, guys. Can't even. No, no, no. Reeling it in. Reeling it in. Okay. And that is how you get in your own way by not starting the topic now. So, okay, here's my dilemma with this.
Okay.
Um, we all have talents. Whether we recognize what they are or not, we all possess one or two gifts, right?
Right.
And part of our journey in life is to do enough self discovery through which you understand what is your gift and how you can share it with the world.
Right.
But most of us are so busy with the day to day minutia of things that a lot of us put their creative or their higher purpose side to sleep.
That's
And so, and thus they suffer and they're like, well, we don't even know what we need to do. Or, you know how the kids are.
true. Mhm.
Kids oftentimes don't know what they want to become. And very few that do. And I find that the few kids that do know what they want to be or whatever is a blessing because their time figuring it out is going to be so much simpler.
Right.
Because, well, kind of like you knew from very early on that you wanted to do film.
Mhm.
And we're still here and it hasn't changed.
Right.
So, but in that journey, you've discovered a lot about yourself and, how through that journey, you're contributing to other people and are being of value to others, right?
Right.
And I think all of us want that. In the heart of heart, all of us want to be significant to ourselves and to bring that significance, to radiate that significance to others.
Right. Mhm.
But how do we stand in our own way? A lot of times with talented people, for example, their talent is so bright
Right.
that I feel like with talent also comes the curse. Like, yes, you're
Mm.
going to get the talent, but we're also going to give you something to overcome in order for you to use the talent.
Gotcha.
Kind of like a perfect example right now, I'm watching Queen's Gambit.
Mhm.
Have you seen that, by the way?
I haven't.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
Very good.
I'll check it out.
Check it out. But it's a perfect example in that film where it's the series where they show how this one girl is so gifted,
Mhm.
but at the same time, she's dealing with an addiction or a vice. I'm just
Right.
going to say a vice because I don't want to give too much out for those who haven't watched it yet. But that was very well illustrated in that film. It's like, look, you have all this potential to to see the world and be the best that you can be,
Hmm.
but you also have this hindrance that's going to keep you from it. Which way you're going to go is up to you.
That's true.
So I feel like I went off a little bit on a tangent, but basically what I'm trying to say is we all possess something special, and we all can discover what that is, but not without work.
Yeah, and also not just without work, but also you have to believe, like, in what you have to offer, and not because I'm sure because there's so much out there to be like, it's like distractions, like, well, this person's already doing it, so what can I offer that's going to be anything different? And I always say that we are uniquely made, we're all different, so what you have or possess, you know what I mean, I might, you know what I'm saying, I don't have that because you're your own person, so there's no other carbon copy of you out there. So there's that. And I always go with, that's what I always say is like, um, I think you have to know that, but I think society kind of tells us, well, you know, this is the standard, and that's a lie. You don't have to, you know.
You know what's interesting about that is why do we have to hear it from someone else? Like somebody else has to remind us constantly, you are so special and, this is how I see you. This is another thing is like other people see so much more value in us than
True,
we do in ourselves.
true. Well, I think that
And we're
that goes
often,
with our own confidence, right?
even most confident people, I think, have those thoughts like, what is it that you see in me and how come I can't see it in me? You know what I mean?
Mm.
I
Mhm.
mean, I'm sure there's exceptions to the rule, but in general, it's like I wish I could be in someone else's body to see what I am, what I represent from outside looking in,
Mhm.
so that I can have a better idea of who I am. It's kind of like the formula. That's sometimes that's what I think about. I don't know how many people do, but that's just in my head what's going on, right?
Mhm.
I'm a pretty confident person, but at the same time, I still have my own hangups. I still have the same fears that everybody else does in terms of what if, what if.
Well, you wear it well. I mean, yeah. I mean, I would never think you would have any problems of like that.
Yeah, I am an actor. It's just an example of even though we can recognize our strengths and abilities,
Mhm.
we still seek the outside validation to truly validate that for ourselves. I'm just saying, I don't know why, but as a people, we do that. Most
Well,
of us do.
I think because we're taught to seek that validation on a subconscious level, right? Like,
And of course, yeah, I mean, there's that. And nowadays, it's just, we live in such a saturated world with information galore and just new things happening all the time that you're kind of immune to the newness of things.
right?
That I think that also hinders someone's ability to feel like, well, how am I going to stand out? Because, it's all about standing out, or it's all about, you know,
Yeah, but I
it's just a lot more challenging, I feel, nowadays
because it's
to
saturated.
embrace yourself. Huh?
You said it's challenging to embrace yourself nowadays.
I believe so. There's a component of, like I said, there's just so much to compare. Because, we subconsciously, we compare
Yeah, there's that.
ourselves
There's that.
to whether we realize it or not, we do a lot of that. Even though we have to remind ourselves, I'm not going to compare myself. That's what we should be doing, right? We shouldn't be comparing ourselves to somebody else.
Ever, ever.
We should lead our own journey and only take inventory of that. like the greatest people say, don't compare your beginnings to someone's middle, and so on.
That's true.
But in our measuring stick, we have to measure it along, against something else for us to feel like we're striving for something.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
I I personally feel the reason why most, like you said, there's a lot of components, honestly, why we get in our own way, and doubt. It's actually doubt, right? That's fear sets comes in. It's doubt, and once fear sinks in, it completely stops everything because it's like you start to second guess yourself. Well, I can't do this because, well, this person says, and also this, and you start making all these excuses, and then it becomes, you know it's really unfortunate that fear, it's like we know not to, like don't, I'm not going to fear, but it does somehow still sink into some certain degree. I think it's because of what society puts out subconsciously, on a subconscious level. So you have to be mindful of what you watch, what you listen to, who you talk to, who's in your circle. Like, these are honestly things that can affect all of that.
when you say that society puts it on you, in what way? I know you're saying be careful what you watch, but what have you observed
Yeah.
that solidifies the
You know,
theory that you?
okay, I always use this is as an example because it's one of the most common and popular examples to use, but it is still very relevant to in this day and age. The Kim Kardashians, this Kardashians freaking show. That entire show, I know there's a bunch of people out there, but that particular show, it's like every young girl for some reason sizes
I
themselves
get
up
it.
to that. I don't know why. It blows my mind, and it's like, that's not an example to compare. You should not compare yourself to that. That's not real. But yet we
I get it. The
glorify it.
setting of fake ideals.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? And then that's what kind of young women are kind of growing up. That's who's teaching our youth. And we're growing up with that kind of mentality in a way, where it's like not brain, it's more of like there's no brain. It's just this like it, you know it's yeah. I don't know. I don't want to get into it, but yeah, it's I just feel like that's not a good example. But yet that's one
The
of the top
priorities,
shows.
I think I get it. The priorities are messed up, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I know for a fact, I mean, also, it's not real, right? That's a reality just
It's embellished. Unfortunately, yes, a lot of people take entertainment for living a vicarious life through somebody else's experience. And when you find yourself doing that, you're already lost. Because if you're going to put so much value into someone else's tele existence, which then you should stop yourself and think, look, what am I doing in my own life? Because you and I always talk about it, and we're always saying if somebody is watching too much TV, it's because they're not living their own lives.
they're not
They're busy watching someone else living their lives, which means you're not prioritizing your time at all.
at all.
You should be out there, should be, maybe should be is a strong word, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a healthy living is when you're involved in your own life, when you're out there doing something to get ahead in your own life,
Yeah.
not just get stuck in this 9 to 5 and then wish you would have, could have, should have. There's so much more opportunity out there nowadays that it's really just a matter of application. You got to apply yourself and just be consistent.
Quick question. Now, that's easier said than done. A lot of people know what to do, but they don't do it. It's because, here we go again, topic of the day, we get in our way, right?
That's why I said application. It's not enough to know.
That's
It's
right.
the applying of the principles. And I am guilty of it myself.
Yeah.
I'm very quick to give great advice
Hmm.
to someone outside of myself, although that same advice I could use myself.
Right.
It's all about discipline. It's all about just kind of, it's the grind. It's like, look, you have to be consistent.
Yes.
And
Really quick.
so you have to take responsibility
Yes.
for your own endeavors in
Absolutely.
any shape or form. Absolutely, in any shape or form, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your job, life, what have you.
Hmm.
If I
Absolutely.
think if you start being responsible for all of it, then you come back to yourself more often because you're not putting the blame outside of yourself. Because once you put that blame outside of yourself, you're like, well, I'm not responsible for this.
Right.
So it's the saying of life is happening for me.
Hmm.
Anything that's happening in life is happening for me. That's the successful mindset
Hmm.
versus anything that's happening in life is happening to me.
Right.
That's the victim mentality.
Hmm.
And so figure out which side of the fence you're on.
Right.
And that'll tell you. I mean, if life is happening to you, then you're in your own way.
That's true. Now, just to go back to what you said about sometimes you feel that way too about your own self about some, like the applying part, right? Now, also, I think what is important to help stop like maybe the reason why we're getting in our own way is that the people that we surround ourselves with has to also be able to build us up as well. We can't always just give and have those people that we're just giving to, and then at the end of the day we're just like empty. We can't give into our own selves.
Absolutely.
So you would need that person around you to, hey, also, have a strong circle of people that also not only that you can edify, but that also they can pour into you. So I think that actually helps as well.
Yes, but for those who aren't starting there, for those who don't have that strong circle, they've got to start somewhere and they've got to start with themselves.
That's true. That's true.
And I believe that that's a harder route sometimes because
Yeah.
in order to start with yourself, if you haven't done that before, that's a huge step for some because that's literally breaking your paradigm and doing the complete opposite of what you're used to in however many years you've been living that way.
I feel like I think at the end of the day, it boils down to if you want to do something, or if you're like, if that's something, is that the path you want to go down this path, you're gonna do it. Like it's not gonna take. No one's gonna have to convince you, right? Otherwise, it's because you know that you know that you know. I want to do this.
And that's why I'm saying it's for those few lucky ones who know what their why is. If your why is strong enough, nobody's going to stop you.
True, but I'm even thinking about just even our daily day lives of like of things that we are like a conscious decision that we make, and like like for instance, I'm hungry. I want a hamburger. I'm gonna go and get me a hamburger. You know what I mean? Like nothing's gonna stop me from getting that burger. That's what I
And
mean.
that's
Like,
a good point. You have to be hungry enough. But if you're somewhere where you're satiated and there's really nothing driving you, which is where, the society mostly is, here in America, let's just say,
mhm.
you know, you have enough food in the fridge and gas in the car and you have a car and and you have an apartment to rent. Like, I mean, just take it at the very basic level, right?
Right.
If all your basic needs are met, then you really aren't driven to go for more because you're satisfied. And
Mm.
satisfaction is where you kind of stop
Yeah,
because
that's
it's like,
true.
why try if I'm content?
Yeah, no,
I'll turn the TV on and I'll watch somebody else's glamour and wish that it were me.
comfort
But
is
until I have
definitely.
that, then in my head, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you're right.
So I think it's about making that decision for yourself and understanding, first of all, understanding that there is a bigger life out there
Mhm.
than what you are constrained to
Right.
be around. And like especially now, if before access to the outside world because you were only within your own realm, now
Hmm.
it's different because you have all these outlets. I mean, granted, not all of them are great,
Right.
but you have the option to choose. You have the option to look around and say, okay, this path is for me. And I'm going to take a leap of faith because really that's what it boils down to
That's
is
true.
you have to have the faith in the unknown in order to take that first step.
That's true. Yeah.
The first step is always, 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 no exceptions, always the scariest.
It is. I agree with that.
But the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like there's got to be something higher than you, bigger than you, whatever your faith is, because you have to understand that no matter what happens in your journey,
That you're
you're
gonna be
going to
okay.
land somewhere.
Right.
You're not just gonna, fall into the abyss of
Right. Don't
the
believe that
darkness.
that that yeah, don't believe that you're gonna fall into darkness because
And
that's
I think that's the illusion of the fear that, immobilizes most of us.
right, of course.
Is that we
Like, but
always
what if
go
I
to,
fail?
yeah, what if I fail? Well, what if,
What if I don't?
okay, then yeah.
Right.
But I mean, even like, I think it's more like a psychological thing because we all have fear built into our psychology to preserve us from um, life-threatening situations. So there is a healthy amount of fear that we all have, and that's a good thing.
Mhm.
So we don't jump off the windows thinking we'll land on our 2 feet or whatever.
Yeah. But
But that's when we have to
mhm.
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go continue. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were saying, but
Hmm.
that's when we have to.
I
Yeah,
was
go
just
ahead.
gonna say that's when we gotta be the boss of our own mind and say, look, mind, I know you're preserving me, but I'm just going to do this because this isn't really life threatening. Whatever I'm about to take on is not life threatening. It's in my own head, and I need to get out of my own head, hence out of my own way.
Right.
Because really, that's where it all starts and stops.
Mhm. You're right.
So maybe instead of thinking 10 steps ahead, just think one step ahead. What if I just tried this? Just yesterday, I read an article by Ben Hardy. I love his articles. He's very motivational. I recommend people to go to benhardy.com and read his articles because they're very, very inspirational. And he wrote, I liked reading it because I was like, this is actually a very good piece of information to have. So I want to share that. It says, I believe Tim Ferriss sets 3 to 6 month goals where he just goes out and tries something new without making it a long-term goal with the end in mind, like I'm just gonna in 5 years I'm gonna be here. No, he says instead, in 3 to 6 months, if this doesn't work out, then cool, at least I tried. It takes a whole lot of pressure off of your own um what am I trying to say, psyche, I guess,
Mhm.
because you're like, so what if I try? You make it playful, you make it less daunting. And it's like, yeah, let's just see what happens. And with that playfulness in mind and with this lightheartedness, I feel you're probably going to get a lot further because you're not putting so much weight on it to where it doesn't get you off the ground.
Right. I would agree with that. I
So
would
I really
totally agree
liked
with
that.
that.
It was actually like I needed to hear that
Mhm.
because especially this year, it's been so, 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 so heavy on a lot of people that it's easy to just throw your arms in the air and say, you know what, I'm done. And we
Right.
we know a lot of people have done it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's been a lot of that, but it's like, isn't now the time to actually persevere and say, you know what, if I can do this now, I can do it anytime.
Yeah. Mhm.
And just
I think this
take
is
it one day at a time,
yeah. Yeah, you're right. I think this is definitely the time more than ever to
feeding your mind more so with the right kind of information.
yeah. That that's true. I think we're so easily prone to carry the weight of the world, and because again we've been conditioned to do that. I mean, look at now. Most people are up in arms with what's going on with the elections, and I just say that's not.
Absolutely.
Don't get focused on that. That's a distraction. Stay focused on what you're doing, your goals. I mean, what's going to happen will happen. You know what I mean? That's how I see it. And what happens is does not affect or determine what outcome is for my life. That you know what I'm saying? What affects it is my choices,
Yeah.
what I do with my life. And I always tell people like we have to have that kind of mindset if we're trying to do anything, whether it's whatever that is that you're doing, because again, it's so easy to get in our way, our own way,
Well,
because we are our
I
greatest
agree. And
enemy. We are our greatest enemy. It's not the other person. It's when you look in the mirror, it's oh, it's me. I'm the one that stopped this from happening. Oh, okay. I can't blame the situation on, well, it's this person or that person didn't want to hire me because of whatever. No, it's me. And
well,
until
and
we
there's also,
actually, I think until
go
we,
ahead.
uh, I don't know. I think until we actually acknowledge that, right? Can we then finally move forward to doing better,
I
living
think
our best?
another important thing to acknowledge is we like to build up stories in our head that don't even exist. We like to think for other people. They don't even know about it,
Mm-hmm.
but we've already decided for them how they're going to feel about what we're doing.
Right. That's true.
So if we just can eliminate the process of these two corrosive worms in our head, right? That alone is already kind of like, whew,
Yeah.
okay, I can breathe. Let me just focus on me.
Yeah.
But the same goes for like what you're saying. Everybody's focused outwardly on the world, but it's like this is when I choose to be selfish, but in a productive way.
There we go.
Meaning,
Yeah.
I'm going to be selfish to preserve this and this for what's important. Meaning, first I have to have an order in my own life
That's it.
before I can offer any of it to anything outside of
Any,
me.
that's right. That's right.
And
That's
so
it.
I am going to be very choosy with what it is that I watch, what it is that I hear, and so on.
Yeah.
And yes, I purposely will avoid things that aren't pleasing to me because guess what? Just because I've heard it and I am feeling some type of way about it and I'm worrying about it, I am not producing anything to make the change
Right.
in that way. So my worrying about it is not really doing any good to the world or
Whatsoever.
myself, my inner world.
Whatsoever. And then you just be products like everyone else that's playing into, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are like that, unfortunately. And I guess all we're saying is, guys, that there is a better way, and it starts with yourself. It really does. I mean, even if obviously again, it's easier said than done. I know that. But I mean,
But it
even
is
if you make
possible.
yeah, it's possible, and just try to make those baby steps to get in there, you know?
Here's the recap, guys. Here's the recap. Start here in your head and tell yourself, I'm not going to think for other people. I'm not going to worry about how they're going to feel about what I'm going to do with my life. It
Hmm.
is my life, and I'm going to live it the way I see fit because I only have one life.
That's it.
Number two, don't create the what if scenarios that cut off your desire to start somewhere. Stop those conversations.
Hmm.
Set a very minimal goal. Make it very small, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. And just tell yourself, just take that weight off and say, you know what? I'm just going to do it just to try it. I'm just going to take one step and then another and then the third. That will be much more conducive to your environment
Mm-hmm.
than talking yourself out of it. At least you have tried something. Even if you have failed, you have learned from it.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
it.
then you just repeat.
Okay. That's it. I love it. I love it. Well, I hope you guys hope this helps someone. I really do, because it's a tough time right now, and my heart goes out to everyone.
Here's what I'm going to say. You know, I'm going to give a perfect example of how I managed to get out of my own way today.
All right.
I am super, super happy that we did this, even though we both were feeling like we had so many excuses not to, but we found a way to do it anyway. And now that we're done, I feel so good. I feel so productive. I feel like, you know, this is great because my little bit of pushing myself against the grain gave me this satisfying conversation. And I feel like I've made a difference in my own day today and hopefully in someone else's.
Right. Love
So
that.
even that little bit has turned my day around.
Love it.
But I had to make a decision. You know what? I'm going to do it. We said we were going to do it. I'm going to
And we
do
did
it.
it. Mm-hmm.
And we did it. High
Yeah.
five, girl. Yeah, we hope this encourages someone,
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
makes someone's day like it did ours.
The better it gets,
The
the
better it
better it
gets.
gets. That's right. That's
That's right,
right.
girl. Hmm.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Mwah.